Day 22. So now we're on 3 weeks post-op. And today I went out for my weekly trip with my mate. She comes around and drags me around the town. Well, she doesn't drag me. She tells me it's my weekly exercise. Now, last week when I went out with her, I was on 2 crutches and I was wasted. I could not walk to the end of the shop and back, and I had to keep sitting down, and I was dog tired the day after that. And I think I just did too much. Now, this time I decided that I would go 1 crutch. So since the physio on Monday has officially allowed me to, I ummed and ahed about whether I was going to take 2 crutches, just in case. And I thought, screw it. We'll go 1 crutch. So 3-legged me went around town. Now, what we did was we parked in a car park at one end of the main high street and walked down the high street to the other end and back again via lunch. And she wanted to do some shopping for a particular occasion. So in between that, I was sitting down inside shops and things like that. She kept asking me, was I all right? I actually didn't need as much sit down time as I did last time. And yes, I was all right. But there is an interesting side effect to only using 1 crutch. Your wrist gets really sore because you're leaning on that 1 crutch more. So I need to get off that 1 crutch ASAP, I think. But I'm not quite ready for that yet, but almost. Because let me show you what my walking now looks like. First steps, no crutch. I'm going to hold it here just in case, because it's a tentative steps, but I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. So, although I would not want to go very far, and I'd still have a crutch in my hand, it's actually almost there. She said that she reckoned I'd be skipping out the door by next week. So I don't know, we'll see how we go, whether we can progress to no crutches within a week. Judging by the rest of the progress, it could be possible, but I don't know. I can't quite get this quad firing like I thought I'd be able to. Now, I was standing in the kitchen going poke, 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 trying to figure out why the bloody thing wouldn't work like the other one, tensing it like the other one. And now I'm really mystified, because I used to climb hills and things like that, and I was climbing Forest Hill the day before my op. So I just don't know what's going on here. My kneecaps do quite sore when I try and lift my leg. Now I've got half of the power back, but I can't quite do it completely. So I can get my foot into a car, but it's not just controlled. It's partly swing from the hip. But yeah, we're getting there slowly, just a bit slower than I wish. So despite doing all of this walking, I still decided I was going to persist with the exercises. Now I'm still doing the same ones. I've got a balance on 1 leg. Here's what it looks like. Now you've got to admit that that is better, and I was able to get a bit further away from the wall, and I can hold the balance for about 10 seconds before I need to touch down. So that's improving. Then the wall slides. Now I've got shoes on, which helps with the grip, and I've also got a plastic bag behind me, which helps me slide up and down the wall. I'm supposed to sit down into the wall sit until I can feel the weight transfer onto the other leg, and then up I go. So here's what they look like right now. And then we've got the knee extensions. Now, I still haven't tried them with the rolled up towel. I'm supposed to put like a rolled up towel behind my knee. I've not tried that yet. I'm still on the TheraBand tied to the bookcase. And this is what they look like. Now, they are actually a lot less painful than when I started doing them. They were bleeding horrible. So they are improving. Now, I know that it's baby steps and all of that. Yes, yes, yes. Be patient. Don't have any patience. But they are improving on when she first had me doing them. So I'm hoping that that is also a good sign when it comes to lifting my leg and my kneecap and blah, blah, blah. So they are getting better. Now, there is an extra exercise that I've decided to add in. Here it is, and here's why. Now, this is another one that I have voluntarily added to the mix. This is not in my program, but it's something that a lot of knee people have said really helps with the bend and flexion. So what I have got is some fitness sliders. They look like this. So there's a slippy side on one side and a grippy side on the other. Your heel goes on that side. this goes against the ground. It works really well on carpet or concrete. Doesn't work very well on high friction surfaces, so I can't use them at the studio, which has got a rubber floor, because they don't work there. But on carpet they work really well. Same thing as a plastic bag or something like that. So here's what I do. Now what I do is I take the flexion as far as I can tolerate and then straighten again, and I keep on going until it starts hurting too much, then I ice. Today's probably not such a flash day because I have done a lot of walking this morning and my knee is already quite swollen, but I'm still going to do it. It just may not get so much bend, but I honestly, when I got up this morning, having done it yesterday, it felt a lot better. So I'm going to keep on persisting and hoping that this plus the other stuff in the mix will help me get that bend going on a little better. Oh, and if you are going to do it, you need to make sure you stay sat on both bum cheeks. I got told off by the physio for going like this and lifting up on one side because it makes it easier. Now there is one more thing I think is worth noting. Some people have had a lot of trouble getting the extension to 0. I have had not any trouble whatsoever with that. It's the bend that I've got trouble with, which is not uncommon. But yes, I got 0, measured 0 on my second physio appointment. Now, I think this is why I've had no problems. Now, I do see people talking about a wedge pillow, which lifts your leg up into sort of this sort of position, sort of like up like that. Now, the problem with that, from what I've read from some YouTube videos done by physical therapists, is that it has your leg permanently in a slightly bent position. So if you've got your feet elevated like that with your knee slightly bent, resting on something, then you're not going to have the full extension. Now, I have never done that. I was told I shouldn't have anything behind the knee, so I've never had anything behind the knee. My solution for it was, when complete extension was quite painful against the back of my knee, was a pillow the length of my leg, especially supporting my foot, but not all the way up to the top of my thigh. Now, I have since watched videos of physical therapists that actually suggest you do that in order to help gravity to straighten your leg. So even without even realizing that's what I have been doing, when I was sleeping in bed, that's what I did. And if I was going to, and there was a time when I had to elevate my knee a bit more to try and alleviate the pain, so I elevated my whole leg, including my foot, trying to keep the knee straight. Now, I definitely recommend you do that, because every time I sit in a seated position, I've got the leg straight out in front of me. Even now, I'm sitting here with ice on. I'll show you what position I'm in. So this is the leg. That's the ice pack. I've got this knee bent up because it sort of helps with my back. But this leg is completely straight and there is nothing underneath it. It's completely straight. So if you're having trouble getting to full extension, I would definitely recommend you try a few of those tips, because it's not something I've really ever had trouble with. Like I say, it's the bend I'm having trouble with, which is why I've added the heel sliders in. So that is today's update. Feeling a wee bit more positive. I keep getting told off by people for being impatient and expecting too much too soon, and look how far I came from last week. And it's really good actually when my friend comes round. She comes round each week, and the difference in me each time she comes round, and she's like, wow. Now that is really good as a check-in, because you sometimes get all worked up about all of the crappiness that is going on with this, and it's a nasty recovery, painful and slow. So you need to look at all the mini baby positives. Now, at the moment today, my mini positives are that I can stand balanced on one leg for 10 seconds or so. If you'd have asked me to do that just a few days ago, I would have had trouble with that. I can walk tentatively without any crutches, and I wouldn't have even told you I could have done that even maybe yesterday. I have still got the same amount of, I haven't lost any flexion. I've still got about 85 degrees flexion. But when I got up this morning, my knee felt a lot better, although the flexion might not have improved. I'm not expecting it to massively improve straight away, but it did feel a lot better, and it's making my walking smoother. So the better I can walk and the smoother I can be on both legs, then that's the better activated the muscles are. And I'm hoping that means that the whole thing will improve. So that's today's update. Keep smiling is what I keep getting told. So I'm smiling.